would you like to travel to your favorite shows or live events? How would you like to record those experiences you've had with your friends at those places? Is capturing memorable experiences and moments in life something you would like to do? Today's guest will talk about doing these things and how he went from admiring TV and film to actually learning the art of filmmaking at a TV production class at NCC. The Humanities Communication Arts Department at Norwalk Community College presents The New Directors, the show that introduces you to television's future writers, directors, and personalities. And now, join our host, Janice Roman, to meet the next new director.
Thank you for joining us for today's edition of The New Directors. All of the people involved with this program are television students in the TV production course and are directing, switching, controlling audio, operating cameras, and acting as talent for the first time today. The guests you're about to meet are students who, when not on camera, are behind the scenes working hard to bring the program to you with as few mistakes as possible. Each student will write and direct 4 different productions. This program will give them the chance to talk about themselves, the productions they are planning, and give you the chance to get to know them and watch their progress throughout the semester. Today, our guest is a person who is an NCC student in the film and TV production course and an aspiring director. He likes to attend live events with his friends and sometimes produce videos about their adventures throughout life. We would like you to meet today's guest, Elias Rosario.
Hi,
Hello.
glad to be here.
So we know that you like to attend live events and record what you experience. Can you please tell us about more where you've been and what you've recorded?
Oh, sure thing. In my youth and even in high school, I was always kind of like the home kid. I'd always stay at home like a couch potato, play video games, watch movies and TV. That has helped me, in this class, watching movies and TV. But over the past couple of years, I've been kind of changing that, going out a little bit more often, live events, trade shows, NCC, and just fancy restaurants, different places just to, get a sense of what's out there. But I have to say the most interesting and the latest and greatest trip that I took was to New York, and that was when I went to Comic-Con in October of 2013. And here are a couple pictures that I took of when I went. As you can see, The Walking Dead was really big that year, and it probably will be this year. And so because of that, I went dressed up as the governor, it's Good Villain. Those were a couple of other fans I didn't know that also went dressed up as a couple of the characters from the show. And then there's also other cosplayers. Those are a couple girls cosplaying as Josie and the Pussycats. There was also vendors with, makeup artists and things like that. This guy, he really looked like, Shane from The Walking Dead, so I had to grab a picture of him with that one. That's Annie Mia, famous cosplay girl, famous for dressing up as different characters from comic books and movies. I got a signed picture of her. That was a really good picture of Michonne. She was cosplaying. There was a girl cosplaying as Michonne from The Walking Dead, so a little kid in the background was looking at us. But yeah, that's a lot of cool pictures that some vendors had, and that was the end of the show. Still were a lot of people there. But even before that, though, I was always going to different places. That's a shot of Hooters when a couple of friends of mine went. We went to go watch a wrestling pay-per-view, and the guy in the middle, our friend with the yellow, we said it was his birthday. It really wasn't his birthday, and a lot of the girls started putting stickers on him. And that's a shot of all the guys and myself at the event or at the place, and that was really cool. And like I said, I mentioned I like to come to NCC. And there was a guy that he had a little bit of muscle. He wanted to gain a little bit more to get the attention of some girls, and that's what we did. Now this is all an act, but we got a couple girls to be in this video for him, and as you can see, he's happy right there. This was just a little fun project, just so we can just try to get used to, I guess, film and things like that. And I try to do an interview session here. Now looking back, I can see some of the places where I messed up on the interview session, but I mean, it was all great. If it wasn't for these outgoing opportunities, I would, have never had the chance to film all these things.
It's very interesting.
Thank you.
Could you tell us why you decided to take the TV production course?
Oh, sure. I mean, with all those videos that I did and the pictures that I've taken, People always kept telling me that I may have a thing for maybe TV production or film or something like that. So after juggling so many different courses at NCC and not knowing exactly what major I wanted, I said, you know what, I think the TV production course is the one that's calling me. I'd always walk by, see the studio. It'd always be something I would be interested in. So based on that and my appreciation for film and TV, and live events like WWE, I mean, hopefully one day I plan to work there, and if something else comes my way, like a big movie production studio job, I'll be glad to go into that field as well. As far as the TV production class goes, I can safely say that it has never been easier to come into class and study.
Right. So what are some of the most useful things that you've learned in the TV production course?
Well, I learned a lot of different things in this class, but I'll start from the top. One of the first things I learned in this class that I didn't know before was how to correct underexposure. And like today, there's so many different cameras and smartphones that have auto exposure. And with that, if you put someone against a glass, like window or something, you take a picture of them or you record a video, you really can't see them. So we learned how to correct that with the cameras that we use in the class. We'd put the subject indoors, we'd face the wall or face the window. We record, let the camera get used to the indoor light, and then put our subject back against the wall. After that was the shift focus, and that's very important to me and to film and TV because I see it all the time in my favorite TV shows. I actually used it in a couple of my projects, or maybe one, but hopefully that'll be the one that'll be the best one in the future once I'm done with the course. But yeah, that's a very good tool. Also, poor man's dissolve, we learned how to do that. And that's great because instead of relying on like Avid or Final Cut to do the dissolve for you, we learned how to do that in the camera itself and then blend the two clips together to make it seem like we used a program to accomplish that technique. And then after that was cutting on the action. And that's a very good technique because all the videos that I did before this class, I'd always put dissolves and cuts to different parts of what was happening with whatever story I was working with. And it always seemed like a lot of time has passed. So what I did was learn how to cut on the action. Because of that, sequences flow a lot better now. And hopefully I can apply that to my future projects and everything I plan on doing, especially if it comes to a job or something.
So can you tell us a bit about each production that you created in the TV1 class?
Yeah, I mean, for a while I always wanted to record something. Once I was done with that project, the NCC project last year, with my friend Kevin, I always wanted to work on something else, but I always had like writer's block. So coming to this class, it was really helpful to get started on projects. One of the first projects I did was the teacup project. And that was a simple sequence where we had to show an actor and actress making up a cup of tea. And I felt that this one was good because I actually learned how to direct and edit Hollywood style by using a flapper to mark what scene I was recording. And also I had to storyboard this sequence so I know what to expect when I go record. I also had to record out of order, and that was important. Using close-ups was great too. Next was my winter project. Now this project was very interesting. As I mentioned earlier, going out, being more outgoing is something that is pretty cool now. So this project gave me the opportunity to do such a thing. A lot of the close-ups that I learned from the teacup project I tried in this one as well. And also the 6 guidelines of good composition, which included simplifying the scene, using rule of thirds, using emotional lines, lines of grace. The next was my student studies at home project. I used everything that I learned in the first 2 projects in this one, including the talent, beautiful Natalie Jones, and everything came together great in this one. I like this one a lot. I rearranged my room just to make it seem like it was a study area, and this was shot across 2 different days, so she had to wear the same outfit, put her hair the same way, so it was a great learning experience. And last is my orange project. It's currently work in progress, but it's very ambitious, probably a bit too ambitious because I've run into a couple of production hurdles, but nonetheless, I'm working very hard on it, and I'm trying to make this my best production. I actually just finished filming a little bit of it today, but.
Now, I know that you had one project that you felt was your best project. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, the best project would definitely have to be the student studies. It was a bit hard to choose. I feel like the music hits in the right places in the student studies project. Rearranging the room was also a cool thing to do. It made me feel like I was on set of an actual like production studio. The close-ups were great. The over-the-shoulder shot is something that I'm a fan of in any piece of media. So using that was something that I like to do. And right here you can see the pen click, and that's cutting on the action, just like I mentioned before, and another close-up. So it was very fun to do that. And cutting on the action again can be seen right here. And I tried to use a very obvious like book bag, a different style, not just a regular one, just to, I guess, make my project stand out a bit more. But it was very fun to do that.
Now, you mentioned the variety of things that you learned in the course. What was the most interesting and important skill that you learned, and how would you put it to use?
Well, I definitely have to say that it would be cutting on the action. Like I said before, I'd always record things that included many dissolves, and things would just never seem like it happened in a timely fashion, just never seemed like it was part of a continuous scene. So I plan on using that technique in whatever line of work I find myself in, hopefully TV and film production, action movies, productions like that. Hopefully I make it somewhere good where that can be utilized.
Today we got to meet someone who has traveled to different live events and shows. He has had fun experiencing memorable moments at these places while recording his experiences. He hopes to apply his knowledge from the TV1 class to help him in the future projects and hopefully one day land a job in the film and TV business. We would like to thank Elias for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
We hope you enjoyed meeting some of television's future directors, and we hope you will continue to join us each week to watch our progress. Thank you and good day.
This has been The New Directors, with your host, Janice Roman, program directed by Christopher Crisamoto. The New Directors is a Noah Community College student production.